Hey friend, Sean with Guided Productions, and today we are going to recreate this infinite scroll effect right inside of Adobe Premiere Pro. Very cool effect, great for intro sequences or YouTube end slides, any time that you want to add some energy into your video. Very cool and very simple to do, and I'm going to break it down for you today. Now, before we get started, I do want to show you I am in version 25.6.4. Build 5, if that means anything to you or if you're following along today. This is, I believe, the newest version of Adobe Premiere Pro. So feel free to follow along with me. Now, I want to point out this effect can be achieved with any graphical or text layer within Premiere Pro, which is very cool if you want to have like a marquee text or some kind of scrolling text or graphics, logos, anything like what you see here on the screen. Now, I did break this down a little bit. You can build out all of these elements inside of Premiere. I actually created this as one cohesive graphic inside of Canva and exported it as a PNG file. And the reason I did that is so that I didn't have to manipulate hundreds of tiny little icons. I could just treat this as one file and scroll it along. So I'll just show you what I have here on the screen. I have this blue gradient in the background that I can get rid of or toggle in. I think it looks cool being on there like that. And if I just move this around, you'll see it's just a giant rectangle that fits the frame of my video or my sequence settings. I did this intentionally inside of Canva. I just created 4K resolution and started building out my graphical elements and duplicated everything. I did all the work on that side and then dropped it into Premiere. So this is what we're working with here today. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, couldn't you just scale that up a bit and then scroll it over so that it's entirely in the frame, set a keyframe, pull your line over and kind of do the same to the other side until it's there. Could you achieve the same effect? Yes. If you're going to be scrolling just for a few seconds, this may be the route that I suggest for you to go. But if you want to go anything beyond, say 5 or 10 seconds, your computer is really going to struggle handling the workload of anything that's not currently in the frame. And so what happens when I start dragging this out? Well, for one, the animation is going to stop. And yes, I could go in and tell Premiere, I want this keyframe to continue, and it will continue for some time, but I have run into the issue where my computer just shuts down and says, hey, I can't handle this. There's too much that we're trying to remember that goes off the screen. It's too large of a file, what have you. And so I've found that there's a better way to create this infinite scroll effect, and you never have to worry about that. So let's jump to my next sequence where I start to build this out a little bit. All I have here on the screen is my gradient background layer, and then of course my icons that you see here on the screen. Now, in order to do this, we're just going to look for an effect inside of Premiere called offset. All we need to do is grab that, type that right into your effects control panel here at the bottom left, select offset and drag it right onto the layer that you want to scroll. Now, you see it pops up here. Right now, nothing is going to happen because I haven't told the computer to change anything, but we'll go to a starting point. Instead of setting keyframes under position, we want to look at this shift center to. This is telling Premiere how far off center you want your images to be. And so I'm just going to select a keyframe right here at 1920, the default, whatever is set on the screen, that is fine with me. And then I'm going to pull this playhead all the way to the end of my track here. I'm just going to nudge this forward far enough that I think that moves enough. So that's probably going to go pretty quick. Let me pull it back to about 3600. Yeah, that's fine. So if I go to the beginning and hit play, we're going to see that it's going to move or continue to scroll that image off the screen. Pretty cool. Essentially what Premiere is doing is just repeating everything that it's seeing on the screen. So as this graphical element moves to the right, everything that falls off the screen on the right is coming up on the left, and it's just going to repeat that indefinitely. Now, one thing I do need to point out is that this effect only works if the graphic or text layers are in the frame. For example, if I was to move this graphic off to the left here, you see it's cut off on the left and I have this big gap on the right. It's not going to push that graphic into this blue space. It's just going to stop right there and repeat on the left. So I'll play this back to you and show you what I mean. Now, there may be a place to use it in this manner, but just wanted to call that out, that the reason I built this graphic inside of Canva, that I knew it would fit a 4K resolution video window, is because I knew that if it didn't line up perfectly, I wouldn't be able to sell the illusion. So that's something to keep in mind as you build out your infinite scroll. So now that we have offset, we're ready to go. We've got our image on the screen. Everything looks really good, But let's take it one step further. Let's actually animate each individual row separately. So how do we do that? Well, I didn't want to waste any time going through this live on the video, so I did do the work ahead of time. But essentially, I just took that same graphic that you see here on the screen and copied it 14 times and then cropped each row out. So I will show you, I'll start hiding layers from the bottom. That's all I did. This is the same graphic that I just duplicated 14 times and I cropped it so that you're only seeing one individual layer at a time. And this allows me to make individual adjustments. This does get to be a little tedious, but that's where you can create some of the really cool effects with different speeds at different layers at different levels. So we're just going to look at this top one here. This top row here, if I toggle it on and off, you're going to see that's the one we're talking about. I'll bring it back. My offset, I have set to 1920, just like I have all of them set to, but my endpoint ends at 3149. If I click my next layer, you'll see that my endpoint is 2685. You'll see my next one is 2118. Doesn't matter which number is coming up. There's no rhyme or reason. Just know that the further you go from that starting position, the faster the scroll will happen. The closer you are to that starting position, the slower that scroll is going to happen. So I went through and just kind of haphazardly chose a faster layer, slower layer, faster layer, slower, kind of alternate a little bit. The numbers don't line up, and that's how you get this really neat kind of messy look. Everything's moving at different times, different rates, but it's all moving in one direction, which I think is pretty cool. Friend, that is how you create the infinite scroll inside of Adobe Premiere Pro. If this has been helpful, leave me a like, subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. And of course, if you want to learn more about video production as a whole, go to guidedproductions.com/bettervideoguide. Download your free copy of my 6 steps to creating better video guide. I walk you through everything from conceptualizing your idea, writing your message, choosing the right location, lighting, the gear you need to shoot an awesome video. And of course, I take you through editing best practices as well in an easy to follow PDF format. It's my free gift to you for spending some time with me. So get your copy there. You can click the link in the description below. Friend, go add the infinite scroll effect into your next video. Have an amazing day, and I will see you on another video real soon.